will purchase the site. Again, the site consisting of approximately 119 acres, the entirety of the site from Roche. Contract for sale was just signed and publicly announced. Although Roche is selling the property to Prism, Roche will stay on the site to perform certain environmental remediation work over the next several years. The medical school site, consisting of approximately 14 acres, 10.98 of which are in Nutley, was previously subdivided to carve out the physical area of the law school. Buildings 123 and 123A, comprising approximately 477,000 square feet, and those are the buildings that sit right on the municipal boundary. Some of the buildings are in Nutley and some of them are in Clifton, are the buildings that will comprise the medical school site. Hackensack University Medical Center and Seton Hall University have formed a joint entity known as Kingsland Street Urban Renewal LLC. As recently publicly announced, they have signed, that is Kingsland, has signed a long-term lease with Prism to lease the medical school lot, including buildings 123 and 123A. I don't think we can discount the possibility that the medical school site, and the medical school, of course, being a nonprofit, could potentially acquire that site in simple title at some point in the future. So I know what you're all thinking at this point, since schools are nonprofit entities, and you just told me that this medical school is nonprofit, why in the world would let me agree that this valuable 10.98 acres of land off the tax rolls? And the answer is that the commissioners would not and did not agree to do that. And a significant effort has been made to cut the best financial deal possible with the medical school and to ensure that that deal remains in effect for decades to come. And I'm going to talk more about what that financial agreement is in a moment. Redevelopment is a process. It starts by declaring an area in development. Again, that occurred back in March of 2015. The second step in the process is the adoption of a redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan for Phase 1, and only Phase 1, was adopted by ordinance this past July 19th. That planning process for the rest of the site will begin as shortly as possible as the market hopefully responds in a positive way to the medical school. Now let's talk a little bit about the redevelopment. As was mentioned tonight, the commissioners will consider adopting a resolution authorizing the execution of the development agreement. That agreement is a contract between Nutley and Kingsland, the medical school. The redevelopment agreement will, among other things, require the medical school to commence construction of the project by November of this year and end by August of 2018. However, there is a one-year extension exercisable by the medical school at their option on either the front end, back end, or a combination of both. The redevelopment agreement applies to all of Phase 1, not just buildings 123 and 123A, but the entirety of that 10.9 acres, 10.98 acres in Phase 1, which is being leased by the medical school. The redevelopment agreement contains provisions that require the redeveloper to come to the commissioners for filing site plan applications for consistency with the redevelopment plan and to assess community. Those of you who are familiar with the planning board process, if you own property, if you want to file an application to build something, you just file your application with the planning board, you send out your public notice, you bring it to the planning board. We've incorporated an extra step here, in part because your commissioners are very hands-on and really want to assess what's happening on the site. So when the redeveloper here wants to build another building in phase one, which they have the right to do according to the redevelopment plan. They first have to come to the commissioners before they can file with the plan. We felt that that was an important measure of protection for the community. The redevelopment agreement requires the medical school, and this is also a financial, by the way, some concepts are just better explained than the concept of the redevelopment agreement instead of the financial agreement. There are technical reasons why some provisions are some agreements and some are the other. But the redevelopment agreement requires the medical school to maintain its own security. Commissioners have been very concerned, supportive of the concept of the medical school. They were also concerned about the impacts that any facility may have on community services. By requiring the medical school to maintain its own security force, that will certainly reduce the burden on the township's police force. Similarly, the redevelopment agreement requires the medical school to attend to its own refuse and recycling as to not overly burden DPW services during the town. The redevelopment agreement also addresses issues as far as transfers of interest. Another provision in the redevelopment agreement is very important. The redevelopment agreement provides for a term called redevelopment area bonds. These bonds, which will be issued in connection with this overall project, will be purchased by an affiliate of the redeveloper. And I will discuss redevelopment area bonds, known as RABs, in more detail. And the redevelopment agreement will only take effect when all of the other agreements that we're going to reference here in a moment are signed by all of the parties, so that all of us, Hackensack Medical Center, Seton Hall, Prison, Roche, and Nutley, so we all jump in the pool, so to speak, together. We're not going to have a situation where Nutley is giving rights to parties and that parties sign documents that provide benefits back to Nutley. It's all going to be done at the same time. Those are really the salient terms of the redevelopment agreement. Now I want to discuss the financial